Hey guys, today we are back with episode number 12 of our fan favorite truck history series. You might have seen our third episode of truck history featuring the history of the Freightliner conventional truck. Well, on today's episode, we are walking you through the history of Freightliner Trucks as a company. Let's get started. In the late 1930s, Leyland James, president of the Consolidated Freightways company, began constructing a lightweight aluminum cab-over engine truck from the rebuilt Fagel trucks. Although first met with skepticism from his colleagues, these trucks became quickly accepted due to their durability yet lightweight design. James continued to lead Consolidated Freightways to success in 1940 when he helped establish Freightways Manufacturing Company in Salt Lake City, Utah, to support the increased production of these new cab-over engine models. 2 years later, in 1942, is where our story really takes off with the truck manufacturing company name change from Freightways Manufacturing to Freightliner Corporation, thus the birth of Freightliner Trucks. This same year, Consolidated Freightways officially launches their Freightliner brand with the release of their first truck model, the Model 600, better known by its nickname, the Shovel Nose. This Shovel Nose Freightliner was the industry's first commercial vehicle with an all-aluminum cab and was very successful. Despite the success of this Model 600 truck, World War II was ramping up and Freightliner Corporation was forced to suspend their truck production in exchange for production of aircraft parts and other war materials. After the war was over, Freightliner resumed truck building operations as normal at a new facility in Portland, Oregon in 1947. The post-war boom resulted in huge growth for the company, and in 1950, Portland's Heister Company became the first private carrier to order a Freightliner truck. Also in 1950, Freightliner introduces the Eastern Freightliner, a B-42 tractor designed to haul a single trailer. With this immense growth, the company began seeking out better distribution capabilities as well as higher volume to reduce production costs. This eventually led to an agreement between Consolidated Freightways and White Motor Company of Cleveland, Ohio in 1951. This agreement stated that Consolidated Freightways would sell their trucks through White Motor Company, thus giving birth to the co-branded White Freightliner Trucks. In 1953, the first White Freightliner branded truck was introduced, the WF-64, which also sported the industry's first overhead sleeper. This WF-64 truck was optimized for long-haul applications with a creative approach to meeting the restrictive length laws in effect at that time. For more information on this unique, space-saving Freightshaker, be sure to check out fun fact number 7 from our 10 Things You Didn't Know About Freightliner Trucks video on our YouTube channel. Only 1 year later, in 1954, White Freightliner introduces yet another new model, the Mountaineer Tractor. This Mountaineer truck earned its namesake with its four-wheel drive capabilities and improved traction both on and off the highway. After 2 back-to-back triumphs under the new White Freightliner label, the company completed the trifecta of innovation in 1958 when Freightliner built the very first 90-degree tilt cab the industry had ever seen. The state-of-the-art design of this tilting cab allowed mechanics and drivers alike easier, more direct access to the engine, making maintenance much simpler. Moving forward into the next decade, Freightliner continued to engineer trucks built specifically for customer needs and requests. This was exemplified in 1964 when Freightliner custom-built the WFT 5366 all-wheel drive cane hauler truck for the state of Hawaii. The WFT 5366, also known as the Sugarliner, was a 6x6 truck with a gross combined weight rating of 76 tons, designed specifically to haul sugarcane. The next year, in 1965, the company debuted their unique Turboliner truck, which was powered by a Boeing Model 553 gas turbine that could reach up to 300 horsepower. At the time of its release, the Turboliner weighed nearly 2,500 pounds less than a similar truck with a diesel engine, giving the Turboliner truck an edge over its competitors. Within the same year, the WFHT 6288 half-cab model is introduced to offer improved visibility in tight spaces and quickly began dominating the construction site scene. The subsequent release of the Turboliner and WFHT 6288 trucks continued to grow the company's success through the late 1960s, leading into the early 70s. Starting off in 1973, Freightliner introduces its largest, most powerful flagship truck model, the aptly named Powerliner. Built with big power in mind, the Powerliner cab-over truck sports a huge 2,000 square inch radiator that conceals a massive 600 horsepower Detroit V12 engine. However, the old aphorism, "with great power comes great responsibility," would quickly become reality for Freightliner in the upcoming year, as 1974 proved to be one of the biggest, most eventful years in Freightliner's history. To kick things off, Freightliner celebrated a major milestone in 1974 with the building of the company's 100,000th truck, a 104-inch bumper-to-back-of-cab cab-over engine model. Many said this special edition Powerliner resembled the iconic Mystery Machine van from the animated cartoon series Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Despite the ongoing success of their flagship Powerliner cab-over engine model, Freightliner begins taking notice of a shift in the market towards conventional long hood trucks with better ride and handling. In hopes of staying relevant in an ever-changing industry, Freightliner unveils the new aluminum long hood white Freightliner conventional WFC truck in 1974. The WFC was the company's first conventional truck ever, and it had a 120-inch bumper-to-back-of-cab length. Just when things seemingly couldn't get any better for Freightliner, that same year in 1974, the distribution agreement between Consolidated Freightways and White Motor Company was terminated. Even after the successful debut of the new co-branded flagship WFC truck, unfortunately, White Motor Company was experiencing a plethora of financial issues due to fruitless overexpansion. After the breakup between Freightliner and White, Freightliner Corporation began selling their trucks as a freestanding manufacturer and distributor. Also during this time, the new conventional WFC truck was renamed to the FLC 120, which was of course short for Freightliner Conventional 120 inches. In 1976, Freightliner debuts their new driver-friendly FLL low cab forward truck. With this new FLL model, as well as steadily increasing sales volume throughout the 70s, Freightliner decided to expand. In 1979, 2 new plants, both in the Charlotte, North Carolina metropolitan area, were constructed. During the late 70s and early 80s, more changes were happening for Freightliner as many deregulation bills were signed into law. These new deregulation laws forced Freightliner's parent company, the traditional unionized carrier, Consolidated Freightways, to downsize. As a result, in 1981, Consolidated Freightways sold the Freightliner brand to Daimler-Benz. Under Daimler's new reign, the company released an update to the FLC 120 truck with the new integrated headlights in the fenders, setback axle availability, and other interior updates. The next year in 1985, Freightliner welcomed a new medium conventional series to their model line with their FLC 112 truck. This FLC 112 truck sported a shorter bumper-to-back-of-cab length, a slightly slanted hood, and shared features with the Mercedes-Benz LK model. Another landmark year for Freightliner occurs in 1987 with the release of the company's first ever aerodynamic conventional truck, the FLD. The FLD was available in both 112 and 120-inch bumper-to-back-of-cab lengths and was the best-selling Class 8 truck of its time. The FLD quickly became a fan favorite Freightshaker, largely because of its integral stand-up sleeper, which set the precedent for sleeper designs today. 2 years later, in 1989, Freightliner introduces what would become the best-selling air suspension of all time with their Airliner suspension, giving drivers new levels of comfort with airbags built into the suspension. Moving into the 90s, Freightliner starts off the new decade with a bang with the introduction of their follow-up to the popular FLD truck, the FLD Classic, in 1990. Another instant hit for Freightliner, the FLD Classic won the hearts of many owner-operators who wanted a bit more conventional-looking truck. Freightliner entered the medium-duty market the next year in 1991 with the debut of their brand new FLN Business Class series. The FLN Business Class truck was geared towards vocational uses with major improvements in visibility and maneuverability. 1992 was another big year for Freightliner when they released their newest update to the FLD series with their FLD 120 70-inch raised roof sleeper. Continuing off the success of their first integral stand-up sleeper, the 70-inch raised condo roof allowed drivers even more room and was wildly successful. However, Freightliner wasn't quite done with the FLD truck yet. In 1993, the Freightliner Classic XL truck is introduced with a massive 132-inch bumper-to-back-of-cab length. This big beast of a rig would become one of the best-known Freightliner trucks ever and a huge hit in the show truck circuit. Freightliner shifted gears in 1995 with their new advanced Century Class model. With the Century truck, Freightliner presented a collection of new, innovative breakthroughs in technology with improved fuel economy and increased payload. A few years later, in 1998, Freightliner debuts the first flat floor design on a cab-over engine model with the very unique Argosy truck. The Argosy was Freightliner's attempt to combine the spaciousness of a conventional truck with the maneuverability and visibility of a cabover. For more information on this one-of-a-kind cabover, check out fact number 8 from the 10 Things You Didn't Know About Freightliner Trucks video on our channel. The huge success and technological upgrades found in the Argosy left Freightliner hungry for more advancements and improvements. In 1999, the company decided to introduce the new Century Class ST, or Safety Technology, vehicle, adding an abundance of standard safety and technological features. The next model in the Century Class model lineup debuted in 1999 with the Columbia truck. The Columbia truck had a setback axle, 120-inch bumper-to-back of cab length, and was very versatile, although marketed primarily as a fleet truck. At the start of the new century, pun intended, Freightliner's parent company, Daimler, took a huge leap forward when they purchased Detroit Diesel. With the acquisition of Detroit Diesel, Daimler was able to truly integrate designs for trucks and engines from start to finish. In 2001, Freightliner came out with a new Coronado truck intended for long-haul and vocational use. Also in 2001, Freightliner introduced the medium-duty business class M2 truck, which served as a successor to the business class FL series of the 90s. 2004 brings another industry first for Freightliner when the company built the first, and still to this day the only, full-scale wind tunnel owned and operated by a U.S. truck manufacturer. This wind tunnel allowed Freightliner to perfect testing grounds for new products and played a major role in shaping the aerodynamics of many models to come. Speaking of which, in 2007, Freightliner unveils their new Cascadia model that incorporates a wide range of aerodynamic, lightweight, maintenance-reducing features. The Cascadia truck offers both 113 and 125-inch bumper-to-back of cab lengths and multiple sleeper options. Freightliner introduced their new SD line of trucks in 2011 with the all-new 108 SD and 1114 SD trucks. In hopes to round out Freightliner's vocational truck offering, the SD trucks were built to cover a wide range of severe-duty applications like construction and mining. 2 years later, in 2013, Freightliner further extends the new SD line and begins full production of the 122 SD vocational trucks. The 122 SD truck was designed specifically for heavy hauling and oversized loads and is arguably the toughest Freightliner truck ever made. Always striving for the industry's latest and greatest technology, in 2015, Freightliner did just that with the unveiling of their next-generation Freightliner Inspiration truck. The Inspiration truck would become the first licensed commercial truck to operate in autonomous vehicle mode on open public highways in the U.S. Most recently, in 2017, Freightliner introduced the new Cascadia, complete with many improvements to the overall driver experience and an increased fuel economy of 8% over the previous model. That brings you up to date on all things Freightliner trucks. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to watch our History of Freightliner Conventional Trucks as well as our 10 Things You Didn't Know About Freightliner Trucks videos, located here on the Jack's Chrome Shop channel. If you've enjoyed this truck history series, consider watching our newest video series, Diesel History. Thanks for all the support on Diesel History Parts 1 and 2 featuring Caterpillar engines. Next up, we have Cummins, so stay tuned. We've compiled truck history, diesel history, and our 10 Things You Didn't Know series into one convenient place at jackschromeshow.com. You'll soon find apparel for each video series up on jackschromeshow.com, so if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you check out the website. This show is made possible by our online Chrome shop, Jack's Chrome. Head on over to our website, jackschromeshop.com, and check out our wide variety of headlights, grills, steering wheels, bumpers, detail products, Jack's Chrome Shop exclusive posters, apparel, and so much more. Save stacks when you shop at Jack's and use promo code YouTube at checkout to save 15% off your order. Don't forget to tune into our channel on Monday for our podcast highlights and check out the live show on Chrome and Steel Radio YouTube and Facebook at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. Links to the podcast and everything we mentioned in this video will be in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you next week. And remember, guys, if your rig don't shine, you don't know Jack.